Retraining the TPM control system is easily done with the PST. It triggers the tire sensor and sends a sensor ID to the TPM control module. Let's take a look at a service procedure working with TPM in your shop. We'll use the example of a vehicle with a direct TPM system, valve stem sensors that respond to continuous wave signals, and a 4-position indicator. First, if you suspect the vehicle has the TPM system, take a few minutes to walk around the customer's vehicle and trigger the sensors to make sure they're working. This will not alter any programmed values because we haven't put the vehicle in learn mode, which is required to make any changes to the vehicle's TPM system. This service procedure will minimize the potential liability for replacing a defective sensor that can cost hundreds of dollars. The current NHTSA rule allows vehicle manufacturers up to a 20-minute calibration period, which means that a defective sensor may not be indicated for up to 20 minutes. This may make it nearly impossible for service facilities to determine if a sensor or sensors are defective at the time the customer brings the vehicle in for service. But with the PST, it will take less than a couple of minutes to make the same determination. Let's get started. Begin by positioning the PST just above the valve stem on the tire adjacent to the wheel. Never place the tool directly on the valve stem because the RF signal will not penetrate the aluminum or steel wheel. While most automobile manufacturers use the valve stem type of sensor transmitter demonstrated here, some mount them directly to the wheel, typically 180 degrees from the valve stem. This would require that you place the tool in the general area where you expect to find the sensor. Again, it is very important to position the tool over the tire, not the rim. Press, then release the activate button while holding the tool steady. A green LED located just above the activation switch will illuminate, indicating that the PST is hunting for the appropriate electronic triggering protocol. A flashing red activation LED would signal the need to replace the 6 AA batteries in the PST. When the proper triggering protocol is found and the tool triggers the sensor communication and functionality is confirmed with a flashing amber LED and audible beep tone. The position of the first LED flashing sequence indicates the response frequency that the sensor is using to communicate with the TPM system. In this case, it is 315 megahertz. The flashing LEDs and audible tone will stop and will be quickly followed by one or more illuminated amber LEDs. This pattern of LEDs can be compared to a sensor listing found within the support area of our website or your user guide that will identify the brand or type of sensor triggered. In this case, the 4 illuminated LEDs indicate a continuous wave sensor. This feature can be useful information when you're diagnosing potential TPM system problems. Continue the procedure around the vehicle until all TPM sensors have been verified as working. Please note that using the hunting feature may take up to 2 minutes to trigger the first sensor. Having activated the first sensor, the next sensor should trigger in seconds, as the PST will begin its search for the correct protocol using the last sensor protocol found. Once you become familiar with the PST, to save time, you may wish to manually select the correct initiation protocol for a specific vehicle, with the understanding that each LED pattern relates to a specific sensor type. To select a specific sensor, keep pressing the selection switch and cycle through the LED patterns until the desired initiation protocol is selected. Once you have identified the desired protocol, press the activation switch, and the PST will begin with that protocol, thereby saving time associated with hunting. If, during your TPM inspection, none of the sensors will respond to the electronic triggering effort, reverse the tool and attempt to trigger the sensor using the magnetic activation portion of the tool. Hold the tool as shown first and press the activation switch to turn on the receivers so that you can detect any sensor transmission. You may also wish to rotate the tool around the sensor if you do not receive indication of sensor communication within a few seconds. If the vehicle has steel wheels, the magnetic activation method will not be effective. If you're not able to trigger any sensor on a vehicle after attempting both electronic and magnetic activation, the problem is likely one of the following. The vehicle does not have a TPM system, even though there may be a metal valve stem present. The sensor itself may be damaged or defective. The TPM sensor protocol is not yet supported. While we make every effort to provide all protocols, sometimes they are difficult to obtain and their introduction is delayed. The sensor may be the type that periodically triggers on its own, which is not designed to respond to the triggering frequency. Your TPM tool may require a software upgrade, or your TPM tool is damaged or defective. After performing the service requested by the customer, which in this case was tire rotation, the next step in servicing a vehicle with TPM is to retrain the vehicle. You would use the same procedure if you needed to replace a damaged or defective sensor. Start by referencing your Mitchell 1 Tire Pressure Monitoring System Guide, which provides description and operation, reset procedures, as well as dismounting and mounting instructions for most domestic and imported vehicles. This guide is available from us and is a necessary part of any complete TPM system service program. Following the directions found in the Mitchell 1 guide, put the vehicle in learn mode. Next, starting at the driver's front tire, activate the PST as shown previously. When the correct sensor protocol is found, the tool will recognize the sensor communication with the vehicle and will begin to flash an amber LED along with an audible tone. On many TPM systems, the vehicle will chirp, indicating that you have successfully programmed the sensor. Continue around the vehicle in a clockwise direction until all sensors are retrained. When you finish triggering the driver's side rear tire sensor, many vehicles will chirp twice, indicating the system is completely retrained. While most vehicles will not require retraining the spare tire, those with a full-size spare should be checked for sensors. It is important to keep in mind that most TPM systems allow a limited time to retrain the TPM system, often 5 minutes or less. Now that the system has been retrained, you can be confident that a low tire pressure condition will be reported to the driver in the correct position on the vehicle. In this example, the service to the TPM system would be complete. To turn off the tool, press the selection button that will cut power in a few seconds. If the vehicle had only a telltale icon indicator and did not require retraining, we would recommend triggering each wheel sensor to confirm all are working prior to releasing the vehicle to the customer.